branding is simply storytelling. Your brand is your story. A great brand, a story other people want to tell for you. I can't tell how people go, oh, thank you. That finally makes sense, right? So undeniable wisdom. The second one is a true voice. In order to do this, you actually have to know your foundational values really, really well, because when you show up, decisions become very easy when you understand your foundational values. Like, does it fit or not? And then it's like, do I have time or not? And probably time and where you spend your time should be one of your foundational values. And the true voice, I have sort of an acronym for it. It's got to be trusted. Like, people have to trust you or they're not going to follow you anywhere. It has to be real, has to be authentically you. Like, if I was trying to talk about something that I don't care about, it's not going to come across genuine, right? Has to be unmistakably you. So, when you hear a Tony Robbins, you know instantly who it is. It's unmistakable because of the way he talks and because he uses all these things. And then E, it's effortless. Because it's just you being authentically you, it's so effortless. And when you do this, you're going to repel some people. Like, I talk about my faith. I talk about, I'm not dogmatic about it, but talk about my faith. I'm going to repel some people, but the rate at which you repel is at least the rate at which you attract, if not stronger. And then, so undeniable wisdom, a true voice. And then the third thing is what makes it look like people who all they do is win, 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 no matter what, that song. But it seems like some people, whether you're a fan of them or not, but we all see the Gary Vaynerchuks and the Grant Cardones, and right, you just God, all these guys do is win. And it's because of this third thing, and people just don't really talk about it, but they've built a committed community. They've poured so well into a large number of people through free and inexpensive training and videos and blog posts and social media that it doesn't matter if they want to start a new wine subscription or like a mattress company. There's enough people to help them fund it. And it seems like all they do is win. So I would say what I've learned in my life is that what I desire. So if you are listening to this and you desire a life of joy, impact, and significance, all you have to do is focus on three things: showing up with undeniable wisdom, speaking in a true voice, and building a committed community. When you do all three of those things, you will have joy, impact, significance, and you'll have a group of people that you've served so well that when you show up and serve, opportunity comes to you. And so you've served them so well, you will never run out of opportunities.
Mm-hmm. That's really, really great. I'm just kind of sitting here taking that in and kind of thinking about my own life and kind of what I'm up to. And I couldn't agree with you more on those three things. And I want to take a little bit of time here to kind of just hear more about the documentary work that you're doing. But I'm curious, just one question, follow-up question on those three things. For people listening, how do you think people, or in your case, you went about gaining the undeniable wisdom? I think there's a lot tactically to building community. I think there's a lot that might be more self-explanatory about showing up, as your true self. But talk about the wisdom piece a little bit. Explain kind of your thoughts on how wisdom works.
I think wisdom only works really through experience, right? So I was lucky enough to get a lot of experiences early, like running tennis business and lawn service and t-shirt company that I ended up giving to my parents when I graduated from college, and going to law school and going to the Grammys and just surrounding myself. And I will say this, I've gotten so many opportunities because I've always said, how can I serve before I would ever ask for anything? And I did it in a non-quid pro quo way. Like, hey, I'm going to do this for you. Would you do something for me? I always just, learn from my parents, really, like, hey, you should just serve people well, just be a good human being. And so I've gotten opportunity. And when you get to spend, they say who you spend, you spend time with 9 other people, you become the 10th that have the same characteristics. I've been blessed with film, particularly, to interview and work with some of the most brilliant people in the world and some of the most famous. And what I love about what I do is I don't work with celebrities. I work with celebrity experts. I work with people who are famous because they're amazing at what they do. They're not just famous because they're Instagram famous. Like I'm doing Dick Vitale's life stories in 18 Hall of Fames for being a commentator in basketball, and he was a fired NBA coach. But he's really, really good at it. And then everyone who I meet doesn't say, hey, why don't you meet my friend who's a deadbeat? They're like, oh, would you interview Tony Robbins for my movie? I've interviewed Tony 3 times, been to his house twice. And so you get to gather wisdom. The other thing I think people got to understand is that the first time you do anything, thank God, is going to be the worst time. Like if you want to get good at something, you have to do a lot of it and you can't skip that process. So like your first podcast is going to be way worse than your 100th. Your first song you write can be way worse than your 100th. Your first meal you cook, whatever. It's like you just got to start. But I've been really blessed to be surrounded by really good people. But one of the ways I got there was by showing up and being willing to serve, being willing to do anything. And again, I learned that from digging ditches to playing tennis with if I had to.